Hello, children. So we are back again. Now, this time we'll be doing 2.1, the poem. We'll start with the first one, animals. So, after unit 1, we are starting with unit 2. And to start with, we have the poem Animals. And this poem, Animals, is written by the poet Walt Whitman, and it will, of course, be explained by me, Mrs. Rachna Chakravarti. So, to start with, let us know a little bit about the poet. Your poet was Walt Whitman, an American poet. He was also called the father of free verse. So, now, children, what do you mean by free verse? Free verse means blank verse. That means there is no rhyme scheme in his poems which he composed. And he basically started this trend of writing free verse in poems. Today, free verse in poems is a regular trend. It's a very usual thing, normal thing. But at the time when he started writing free verse in his poems, he was defied. He defied the tradition and wrote the poems without the rhyme scheme, and people started calling him a rebel. So he was a rebel poet during his age, but he didn't mind at all. He went on writing the poems according to his genre. He had taken free verse to be his main genre of writing poems. He composed several poems, and this had made a big impression in the minds of his readers. Now, to start with, let us do something about the central idea of the poem. In this poem, the poet Walt Whitman admires the animals for being better than human beings. The poet wishes to live with animals and to experience a life where no one complains and where everyone is free of sins and sorrows. So, in this poem, Walt Whitman has given us a pedagogic point before the human beings. What do you mean by pedagogic, children? Pedagogic means a literary point from the literary point of view that human beings need to remember what is their nature and what are the nature of animals. Here, the poet highlights that human being has forgotten their own nature and they are becoming animals, which we need to be very, very particular about. So now let us see quickly to the whole poem and then a small paraphrase and explanation of the poem too. So to start the poem with, I think I could turn and live with animals. They are so placid and self contained. I stand and look at them and long. They do not sweat and whine about their condition. They do not lie awake in the dark and weep for their sins. They do not make me sick discussing their duty to God. No one is dissatisfied. No one is demented with the mania of owning things. No one kneels to another, not to his kind that lived thousands of years ago. No one is respectable or unhappy over the whole earth. So they show their relations to me and I accept them. They bring me tokens of myself. They evince them plainly in their possession. I wonder where they get those tokens. Did I pass that way huge times ago, negligently drop them? So the poet here in this poem Animals is discussing about his love for animals and how he prefers them over the human beings. The poet prefers to live with animals since they are calm, composed, and contented. He is fascinated by the animals and can gaze at them for hours. He says animals never complain about their condition or situation. They sleep peacefully as they do not have regrets about anything. Unlike humans, animals don't annoy the poet by talking about God and their duties towards Him. Animals are contented and have no craving for the worldly objects. So he is really very much attracted to the animals. Animals, humans, on the other hand, hold their ancestors in high regard and often how in front of other humans for many reasons. The poet observes that animals all across the earth are neither too happy nor too unhappy. The poet finds the animals affectionate and loving, and he feels the same humans have evolved. They have given up their basic nature and qualities. Virtues like love, compassion, cooperation are still exhibited by animals, but not by human beings. They are the ones who have carried forward those characteristics and virtues. Upon seeing animals, the poet tries to recollect where he has accidentally lost his true nature. So the poem finally highlights the flaws of the civilized society. As a human being, in our journey of evolution, we have forgotten the basic human values which makes us human in true sense. And we have actually given up all our human qualities and are turning to be animals, whereas the animals, on the other hand, have become more loving by nature and they have tried to take in all the compassionateness, their love. They are showing their love towards us. What and in return, they want nothing from us. Unlike the human beings, they have so much of expectations from us, but the animals do not expect anything from us. So the poet is very happy in the company of animals. He feels contented when he is with the animals. So, did you understand the poem, children? So, the poem describes his happiness when he is with the animals.